Hello and welcome. One of the tools used in system dynamics modeling is causal loop diagrams or CLDs. There are several software applications available for drawing causal loop diagrams, such as Benzene and even Insight Maker. These software applications are useful, particularly when you want to proceed to the next stage of systems dynamics, such as the use of stock and flow diagrams, as well as simulation. However, sometimes you simply want to present visually your causal loop diagram using the tools that you have within Microsoft Office. For such simple presentations of causal loop diagrams, you can make use of Microsoft Office applications such as Microsoft PowerPoint. What we want to do today is to use Microsoft PowerPoint to demonstrate how to draw a causal loop diagram of a very simple model that is shown to you on the left side of the screen. What you see on the screen is an example of a simple causal loop diagram. What it shows is, for instance, when a digital platform, an e-learning digital platform is set up in order to improve education. It could be in a region or for a school. What are the factors that would impact the implementation of such a digital platform? So what is shown here, for instance, is that when you implement a digital platform, that is likely to cause an increment in student enrollments. So the S that is shown here is representing an increment or a positive polarity. So when you install the digital platform, there's likely to be an increase in student enrollments. And then these two variables or factors are linked together using that causal link. On the other side, we also see that if there's an increment in enrollments, that is likely to cause an increase in revenue, and that eventually causes the digital platform to be used more. So for this particular loop, we can see that the polarities at the end of the arrows are all positive, where S refers to a positive polarity. Here also as well, there's an increment in revenue. So this causal link is shown as S or a positive polarity, and as well at this point it shows as a positive polarity. In this tutorial, I will illustrate the use of Microsoft PowerPoint to draw a simple causal loop diagram as shown in the diagram on the left. And this diagram will basically seek to capture the factors that can influence educational performance based on an installation of a digital learning platform as shown here. Now, first we will draw the causal loop diagram using Microsoft PowerPoint, then an explanation of the important concepts in systems dynamics modeling, such as reinforcing loop diagrams or positive loop diagram, shown in R1, and balancing loops such as B2 and B3 will be explained. But the purpose of this tutorial is basically to illustrate how to use Microsoft PowerPoint to draw causal loop diagrams. So on the right side, I have shown a partial version of the causal loop diagram you see on the left side. What I will do is to illustrate the drawing of this loop which connects digital platform to enrollments. So I will draw it on this space here. And then I will also show this loop shown as B2, connecting the quality of training factor to enrollments. So I believe that when I show how to draw this R1 loop and the B2 loop, then you would be familiar with how to use Microsoft PowerPoint to actually draw a causal loop diagram. To draw these two loops, R1 and B2, what you see is we'll need these two shapes for the digital platform and the enrollment factors. Now to do that, we simply go to Insert, and then select the oval shapes depending on the version of Microsoft Word or PowerPoint that you're using. Find out where the oval shapes are. In mine, it is under shapes, and then I pick the oval shape. Just draw a shape onto the canvas where you want to place that particular oval shape. I can move the shape around to where I want it to be. You can also format the shape by changing its color if you want. I will just remove that out of the way. So if you right click and select format shape, now this pop-up will come up. This will allow you to change a number of things. For example, if you want to change the shape color, I want to change it to black so that it is the same as these others, right? Then I can name that shape by right-clicking and selecting Edit Text, and what I want to call it is Digital Platform. So I will just type there Digital Platform. Okay, and then the other variable that I want is the one for enrollments. So I don't have to do it again by going to Insert and picking the shape. I can just right-click and copy it and then paste. Okay, it can overlay it. Just click on it, hold the mouse down, and drag it across. Excuse me. Right, and then you can change the variable name. What you want to have there is enrollments. Right, so we now have those two variables. The next thing we need to show is the causal links. So we have the top causal link and also the lower causal link here. Now, you notice that in this original diagram, we also have a revenue variable where we had indicated that when enrollments increase, obviously the revenues go up, and that will, improve the usage of that digital platform. So we can also, insert another shape here and call it revenue. So that we now have all the shapes that we need for our diagram, so that what we need to do next is to put in the causal links. So I've just enlarged it so that you're able to see clearly what I'm doing. What you want to do now is to place the causal linkages between digital platform to enrollments, then another causal link between enrollments to revenue, and then another causal link from revenue to a digital platform. Now to do that, again, we just go to Insert, go to our shapes, and we can make use of the connector, the curved arrow connector. So if you have used it recently, it will appear here. Otherwise, just click on it, go to your first oval shape. You want that link to have a connection between digital platform to enrollments. There it is. It will be highlighted. Now, if you see on the right, you can change the format of that causal link. For instance, changing its color. You can change it to be a dark color, and you can also change its shape in terms of the width of that causal link. Let's put it to be 6, and you can see that is now clearly visible. Now you can also change the arrowhead to be similar to what we have here. So while still highlighted, again, if you look at the format, in the format section, if you look down, you'll see the end arrow type. If you click on that, and then you see there are various types. The one that we are using is the stealth arrow. Click on it, then it will change its shape in that manner. So you can do the same to that link there from enrollments to revenue. All right, so I'll just go there and do the same. Go to shapes, and now we can use the recently used shape which is available there. If I click on it, then I can now connect to that oval shape. The factor of revenue is still highlighted. I can change its properties to black, and I can also change it to the size to 6, similar to what we had before, so that they're all of equal size. Then change the arrow type to a step arrow, similar to what we had before. The remaining part is between revenue and digital platform. Again, we just go through the same procedure. Select your curved arrow and then connect revenue to the digital platform. Change its properties, black, arrow type. Okay, we still have to change the size to 6 points. And then the end arrow type, we want it to be stealth. So that is complete. Now what remains is for us to put these polarities in this particular loop that we have on top here, similar to what we had seen before. Now to do that, there are a number of ways, but I'm just going to use basic features of Microsoft PowerPoint to be able to do that. So we have seen that if you install the digital platform, it is likely to increase enrollments. So we want to have a positive polarity at the top here, similar to what you see here using the plus sign. There are various notations for showing polarities, but we are going to stick to the use of positive for a reinforcing or positive loop, and the negative symbol for a balancing or a negative loop. To do that, we'll just go to insert. I'll just use the basic shapes. It's your choice. I'm going to pick the rectangle shape, for instance. I will draw it there. Here's a small one. Kindly remember that all polarities must be placed at the end of the arrow, right? So cannot put it in the middle or in the beginning, but towards the end. And again, we can change. If you right click, then you can now place your positive polarity by just typing the plus sign there. Right, now we have the plus sign. We can leave it like that if you wanted, depending on how you want to, the kind of visual appeal you want it to have. But otherwise, you can also show it like this by changing the properties of that particular element. If you look at the format shape side, you can remove the color so that it doesn't show. For example, if I remove the color of that shape, I can also change I can remove the blue color by selecting no fill. So of course what you typed in will not be visible, and that simply requires that you change the font color of what you typed in there, the positive sign, and that you can change in the normal properties, probably changing it to black, so that now you have it showing or visible. You can bolden it so that it's much more clear. So it's just a basic shape, so you can change the size so that it's equivalent to what you have here. For example, just highlight it and change the size, and obviously it will increase in size to the size that you want. Right. So after doing that, we also know that Between enrollments and revenue, it is also a reinforcing or positive loop. And between revenue and digital platform is also a reinforcing loop. So after making that shape that you want to use, you can copy that. As I indicated, it normally just overlaps when you paste it. Just drag it to where you want to place it, right? We also want to place it there. Copy again, then I'm going to drag it and put it at the end of that arrow. So we have completed the polarities of this particular loop which was missing, but we also want to name this loop, because when you are drawing causal loop diagrams, you need to be able to name all the loops. So we want to put it in the middle. We can still use the shape that we have drawn here by simply pasting it, dragging it in the middle of the loop, and changing it to R, because we know that this is a reinforcing. We want to call it R. Could call it R1, or there's just one reinforcing loop here, so you can call it R. You can change the size so that it looks proportional to the others, but I think it's the same as all the others. Let's call it R1 to maintain the notation that we're using. Let's widen it a little bit. So we are done for this particular loop. Now the other causal link that we need to place is to have a causal link from enrollments to quality training. And then we also have another causal link from quality of training to enrollments, going that way, so that we have the B2 or the balancing loop on the top right. So let's just, similar to what we did here by placing the causal link, let's put an arrow between enrollments to quality training. We go to insert, shapes, pick our curved arrow, and basically pick it from there, however you want it to appear. Right? You can change the properties as well, change the color, change the size of that causal link. Let's make it equal to the others, which was 6 points. That looks okay. We can leave it that way. It is capturing what you want to be able to show. And for this particular one, we know that the polarity is negative. So we already have a negative polarity here, similar to what we have created here. So we can simply copy this one, paste it. As I've said, it will overlay the other one. Just drag it and bring it there, so that it is shown clearly that between enrollments, the meaning of this arrow is that as enrollments increase, obviously there will be pressure on teaching, and that is likely to affect the quality of teaching. So the quality of teaching may go down. That's why there's a negative loop here. Now the other loop then is will come from quality of training to enrollments. So let's put another causal link. Go to shapes. Let's pick our curved arrow connector, which will come from the quality of training variable all the way to enrollments variable. Again, we can change its properties. We know that this is 6 points, and we want it to be a darker color, similar to the others. And for that particular link, we know that is meant to be a positive reinforcing loop, right? So when quality of training goes down, there's a positive polarity that we need to place here. So we can copy that as well, similar to what we have done in the previous one. Copy, it will overlay it, and then bring it there. We are done with that causal link. So we have another, we need to name this causal loop diagram here. Again, we can copy that one. This is a balancing loop. It will overlay it, drag it. Let's call it our B1. Right, let's just, sorry, not B11, B1. Let's call this one B2. Right, so we have basically completed the drawing of the causal loop diagram by relying completely on Microsoft PowerPoint. Now, if you go back to the original diagram, there's also a section showing delays. So between training capacity and quality of training, as training capacity is improved, obviously there is a delay as teachers are being trained. Between teachers completing the training and quality of training improving, there will be a delay. And also between investment in learning hubs and improving the training capacity, there is a delay. So the other issue that we need to show is how do you show the delays between each of these variables. So that you can simply show by using these parallel lines. Again, just going to shapes and picking the straight lines and drawing it across there where you need to show, and then change the properties, make it a dark color so that it is all uniform in your diagram. Let's push this one to 4. No, that's a little bit too much. Let's push it to probably 2, right? And then just another one to, so delays are normally shown by using 2 parallel lines. Let's make sure that they are of the same shape and of the same width. There we go. So this basically shows the delay, and we have completed the drawing of the causal loop diagram. In the next tutorial, we'll be explaining the meaning of these causal loops, R1 being the reinforcing loop, B1 is a balancing loop and what they mean, as well as B2 reinforcing loop diagram. So this is what we're going to cover in the next tutorial. Thank you and bye-bye.